Hey there, Crown Corner family. It's your host, Crown, coming at you with another round of wild and wacky stories from all corners of life. Today, we've got a lineup that's sure to keep you on the edge of your seat and maybe even give you a good laugh. So grab your favorite snack, get comfy, and let's dive into today's tales of the unexpected, the bizarre, and the downright hilarious. Remember, life's an adventure, so let's enjoy these crazy stories together. This is a story about an incident involving my father, who works as a police chief in Latvia, and the man we will refer to as the idiot. The incident began when the idiot committed a robbery. He was caught and subsequently appeared before a judge, who sentenced him to 1 year in jail for his crime. My father, along with his team of police officers, was tasked with transporting the idiot from the courthouse to the prison. This was a routine task, but on this particular day, it was already late and everyone was looking forward to heading home. Importantly, my dad and his team had returned their service guns to the police station as they were finishing their shift. Upon arriving to pick up the idiot, they encountered no initial issues. However, as soon as the idiot was escorted out of the car at the prison, he saw an opportunity and attempted to escape. But his plan was flawed. He was in handcuffs, and the surrounding area was covered in knee-deep snow, severely hindering his movement. He managed to struggle only about 10 meters before being easily recaptured by my father and his team. Typically, such an escape attempt would require an official report, but given the late hour and the desire to end their day, my dad decided to let it go unreported. At that time, such discretion was sometimes exercised by the police. But the story takes a twist. The idiot, for reasons known only to himself, decided to write a letter to my father's boss. In this letter, he fabricated a story claiming that during his escape attempt, the police officers shot at him, and this accusation was serious and naturally confused my dad's boss, particularly because there was no official report of any escape attempt. This allegation led to a new trial, where the escape attempt and the claimed shooting were discussed. It was the same judge who had previously sentenced the idiot for the store robbery. At the trial, the idiot repeated his false claims, dramatically stating how he was shot at and almost lost his life. However, the idiot's story unraveled quickly. My dad had a solid alibi, the documented evidence that he and his team had returned their guns before picking up the idiot. This document included signatures and the exact time the guns were returned, proving they couldn't have shot at the idiot as they were unarmed at the time of the incident. Realizing the gravity of the idiot's lies, the judge was not amused. He had initially sentenced the idiot to 1 year for the store robbery, but now, considering the false accusations and the escape attempt, he decided to impose a harsher punishment. The judge extended the sentence to the maximum allowed, adding 3 more years to the idiot's time in jail. In the end, the idiot's attempt to manipulate the situation horribly backfired, leading to a longer stay behind bars than he initially faced. This story remains a memorable example in my family of how a bad situation can be made much worse through dishonesty and poor decision-making. Alrighty, so in my past, I was a cashier at a military exchange. Most of my customers called it the PX, Post Exchange, but it was NEX, Navy Exchange. This was probably 4 or 5 years ago, so my memory on the specifics might be a little vague. This'll be a shortish quickie. So to lay down the story, being a military exchange off base, there were rules. You need to show military ID, usually active duty, dependent/spousal, or retiree types, in order to enter and again check out. You were allowed a guest, but they had to accompany you the entire time, and only one bearing the military ID was able to make any payment at all. With those in mind, let's dive in. I was just doing my job. It was probably an hour and a half to closing. I was usually at the register closing, just my preference, and I was good at it. Closing stuff always got done when I was responsible for it, assuming I had the time to do it, assuming customers weren't flooding the area in the last 2 hours. It had been a fairly slow night, so up to then, I was in a decent enough mood. Things were pretty clean and I was just waiting for customers, straightening things out. Retail people know the drill. Then a lady came up to the register with a guest. Her friend, the entitled lady, had stuff she was buying. Showed her ID, which was fine, and checked out. That was when her friend set down a Visa gift card, one of the prepaid choose your balance ones. Great. I asked a friend for her ID after getting it into the system and gearing up to activate it. The lady showed her ID again. When there were multiple transactions and not already seeing the ID, I usually didn't care if it was the same person. While the friend tried handing me her money, I asked again for the friend's ID, and this is when the fun started. The lady told me that it was okay, that friend was with her, but I told her that I could not take the money from the friend without seeing a military ID. This wasn't my policy, this wasn't just a store policy, this was company policy. She insisted, so I radioed my MOD manager on duty at the time. Thankfully, this was one of the good ones, and she backed me up. I remember the entitled lady's next statement/demand very clearly. Do you really expect me to buy my own birthday present? Lady, what? I am upholding my company's policy. I, supported by my manager, repeated that I could not accept money from anyone without seeing a military ID. But if she really wanted her friend to buy her that Visa card, she could have bought it at the Walmart up the street, literally 2 minutes away if she did not have the military ID. She could have her friend buy it at the Walmart up the street, literally 2 minutes away, if she did not have the military ID. So the lady started throwing things at me. I backed up as far as I could against the wall in my register area, and then shoving stuff on the seasonal shelf behind her. Then off of one of the side stacks was Easter candy in it. She charged off after the front with my manager following, but not before my manager told me, "I'm sorry, OP, you did not deserve that." Not even 5 seconds later, my LP security guy rounded the corner and followed. I don't know what happened after that, but it was nice that my management had my back. I never saw this entitled lady ever again. This happened Friday night, and I've been struggling to put into words just how insane it was. My ex-in-laws and my ex showed up at my job during the biggest event of the year. Every year at my job there is a Christmas-themed party. The dancers dress up as elves, my boss dresses up as Santa, bartenders dress up as reindeer, and the bouncers dress up as snowmen. The place is beautifully decorated as a winter wonderland with a huge throne for my boss to sit on and custom poles for the dancers to dance around him. It's a huge thing at my job, and it's always one of the highest grossing nights of the year. It's advertised all over town that people can come, get their pictures taken with us, sit on Santa's lap and enjoy a fun evening with custom Christmas music made by a DJ. We even have Christmas-themed drinks, guys, and they are so good. I was so excited for it because I started working there this year, so it was my first time being part of this event. I was dancing that evening, so I was dressed up as an elf. I was feeling great. It was pretty late into the evening, around midnight, when this incident took place. I was dancing on stage when out of nowhere I heard the shrieking sound of my ex-mother-in-law crying. I turned around and there they were. Ex-mother-in-law, ex-father-in-law, and Bill. My ex-mother-in-law was slapping at Bill's arm and pointing at me. I couldn't make out what she was saying over the music. All I could hear was the shrill sound of her voice. I started looking around for Kyle, my boyfriend. I couldn't see him, but I did see other bouncers, so I waved at them, trying to get their attention. We have a special wave that when a bouncer sees it, they know to come running. Bill comes to the stage and starts shouting at me, while the men around him are waving cash at me. He tells me to come down and to come with him, that I was bringing shame to his family. I ignored him. I saw a couple bouncers heading for us, so I kept dancing, believing I was saved. That was protocol. Call the bouncer and keep working to avoid making a scene. It was then that I felt someone grab my ankle and pull. In my panic, I fell and let out a scream. I look up and it's Bill. He had pulled himself onto the stage and grabbed me. I started kicking at him with my other foot until the bouncers finally got there and pulled him away from me. I felt someone else grab me and I screamed again, but when I looked up, I saw it was Kyle. Bill and my ex-in-laws were taken into the office while I was taken backstage to riot at the panic attack. Kyle held me until I calmed down. The police were called and I got to watch as Bill was forced into the back of a police cruiser in handcuffs. He's being charged with public disturbance, assault, and trespassing. My boss was talking to my ex-in-laws, telling them not to come back and warning them the police would be called if they did. Despite how pissed he was, my boss was pretty calm and polite. I then heard the ex-mother-in-law shouting at how she was going to take me to court to take my children away from me because a godless witch like me wasn't fit to be a mother. I couldn't take hearing that and I rushed at her. Kyle had to grab me and stop me because I was screaming at her that she was a psychopath and she would never get her hands on my kids again. That she had raised a lying, cheating, emotionally abusive scumbag. She raised a hand to slap me, but the bouncers and police got between us. She and my ex-father-in-law got into their car and drove off after being threatened with arrest. After calm had been restored, we all went back inside and resumed the party. I made good money that night. Even Samantha, my job's entitled gossip, couldn't deny what Bill and my ex-in-laws did was crazy. Over the weekend, I got a call from someone claiming to be Bill's ex-girlfriend, the one he cheated on me with. I asked her how she got my number and she said she had her ways. She said she decided to call me after Bill called her begging to get bailed out. She told me that during their relationship, ex-mother-in-law treated her like crap and compared me and her a lot and always acted like she wasn't good enough. She was relieved when they went to Greece, believing her and Bill's relationship could be salvaged at this point, but she was wrong. Bill would also talk about me. A lot. And she was always crying about being compared to his ex. When I got the job at the club, his behavior became more erratic. She told me that she confronted him after he was thrown out of the club because word travels fast and she heard about the whole thing. He got pissed and slapped her, then threw her out of his house. She got him arrested and he was fired from his job as a result. I thanked her for the information and promptly told her never to call me again. She asked me why and I told her that she had no issue cheating with Bill and hurting his wife and kids, and that she was only calling me to get back at him for what he's done to her. I hung up and blocked her. I plan to file for a restraining order today, but now I am armed with more information that will make the process so much easier and go so much faster. Win for me. Hey folks, a quick interlude from our story bonanza. If you're enjoying these wild rides, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming up next on K-Korner. And hey, drop a comment below. I love hearing your thoughts. Alright, back to our stories. Hey all, if you know me, you know that I operate a drive-thru in the Wild West. Living the dream in Arizona. Things are hectic here at Mindy's, but it's been admittedly a little more so and in a very different way since a certain brand of the devil's lettuce has been legalized. Like people are straight up wandering around the valley looking like they just landed on planet Arizona, not knowing the basics of life. I mean, I'm having to explain toilets, doors, water bottles. Oh yeah. Oh, you got a twisted, brah? Gnarls. And especially the drive-thru. It's like Idiocracy comes to life. And we've got a crew of Luke, Cunningham, Wilson, and Maya Rudolphs trying to make it through our day. Last night another one of these aliens entered our airspace, so I approached with my usual greeting, one of two possible. Hi, welcome to Mindy's, please hold on a second and I'll be right with you. It's a policy that we must greet the car within 5 seconds, preferably 3 of them setting our bill off, when they drive close enough for their window to reach the speaker. So if we're busy with a previous order or orders, we will greet them and have them hold. Well, this wasn't cutting it for this car full of Dax shepherds. As soon as I told them to hold, they were, "What? What the hell? Nah. No, you talk to the other guy, man. I swear to God, brah. Tell me what's going on right now, man. What's going on? Don't say no more words, Tilly. Tell me what's going on right now, man." Wow, just freaking wow. This was a peppering of words, fired at me nerve-style by the entire car of people. It was hard to say who said what, but I applied my malicious compliance to all of them, spray and pray style. Well, sir, you're currently in a drive-thru of an Arizona Mindy's. By pulling your vehicle up to our speaker, you are entering into a social contract where I listen to what food you would like to order from our restaurant and put that into our system so our amazing chefs know what to make for you. Sometimes I don't have time to take that order with immediacy, so I'll tell you to hold on until I'm ready to enter your order. I can only enter your order when I'm standing within reaching distance of that POS and when I'm logged in. If I have told you to hold on in about 30 seconds or less, I will then take your order. Do you understand? Great! Now hold on while I figure out what's going on with the previous order. Then they are responding, "Oh no way, all that. And I still have to wait. Oh no way, all that and I still have to wait. You could have taken my order already. We're out of here." I try to reply as I hear them peeling out. "Sir," but it was too late. They hit the car in front of them. They were so pissed that they forgot how stupidly high they were. They literally rammed the car in front of them. They both had to pull forward, but the car in front refused to move because they didn't want these guys taking off. It shut our drive-thru down for an hour and a half. Our lobby was rocking. The kids all four got arrested, 3 in handcuffs, 1 was his parents, and it was a melee. 1 kid wound up getting hauled off after everything. The car was towed, and the other kids wound up in tears at the end of it. Much drugs were involved based on smell alone. And grape of all flavor. This happened in the late summer and really seemed surreal. My family and I live in a pretty big house that my dad bought when it was cheap. It's right next to a beach and you can get a pretty good view of the ocean, which I really like. So enough of me rambling. I was in my yard doing something I can't remember when the entitled mother pulled up in a car in our driveway. I'm alerted to this and walk over and ask if I can help them. It goes on like this. Hi, can I help you? Hey, what are you doing in my house? I was surprised at the fact that she said it was her house, but then realized she might have been mistaken. I think you're mistaken. This house belongs to us. Yeah, right. Listen, kid, just get out of the yard before I call the cops. I was really confused at this point, and before I could respond, the entitled boy of hers screeches, Mommy, when are we going in? Right now, honey, and opens the door, releasing her hounds. They immediately storm into my house, and I hear my mom scream in shock. I try telling her again that this is my house, but she puts her hand on my face and literally pushes me back. The entitled mother then sees my dad shooing the kids out of the window, and the entitled mother screams, What are you doing to my kids? The entitled dad also steps out of the car and starts arguing with my dad about how he tried to assault his kids and that he could sue him for that. Before my dad could explain, the entitled dad grabs my dad and tries to hurl him into the yard. My dad stumbles a little and loses it. Who the hell do you think I am? Get off my house now, the entitled dad says. At this point there, I just stuck into the garage. I was about to call 911 when the entitled mother opens a door and yanks me out in the yard screaming, Burglar! Rapist! The entitled dad then switches targets and storms to me and body slams me to the ground. The rest of the details are fuzzy since I was almost knocked out. But my dad, the concealed carrier, pulls out his M1911 and points it at the entitled dad. The entitled mother screams, Help! We're being assaulted! Help! I blacked out a little, but when I woke up I saw both the entitled mother and the entitled dad in handcuffs with the entitled kid. The police took both me and my dad's statement and pressed charges, assault and battery with trespassing. I later was taken to a hospital where I had a concussion and was released the same day and found out that both the entitled parents were duped by a fake Airbnb post and allegedly rented out our place for the next 4 days. We later found out that both parents had actually been previously charged with public indecency, disturbing the peace and battery. With everything slowly going back to normal over the next few days, we thought that this would be just a one-time incident. Wrong. My dad found a notice that both the entitled parents were trying to sue us for emotional damages and medical bills. My dad actually laughed at the thought of this and actually countersued and was awarded $15,000 for emotional distress and medical expenses. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed these stories as much as I enjoyed sharing them with you. Remember, life is full of stories, and each day is a new page. So keep smiling, stay curious, and who knows, maybe one day your story will be featured here too. Until next time, this is Crown, signing off.